Hey everyone, Justine here, and today I really wanted to talk about how you can find a career that is one of a kind to you. So back when I was in college, I took this really interesting class called Strategic Philanthropy. It was a case-based course where we competed for a $7,500 grand prize that would be donated to our nonprofit of choice. And it was led by these two professors who only taught this one class. And outside of that, they were really involved in all things nonprofit and social entrepreneurship. So of course, I was a huge fan and wanted a sprinkle of their wisdom. So one day I had a chat with my professors and I asked them, how can I have the kind of career that you have? And I was really surprised by their answer. They told me to not focus on trying to fit myself to a specific role. Instead, build expertise in things that I personally care about, and other people will make roles to fit me. This was a totally mind-blowing idea to me, and I think the idea helped me and my team in developing our proposal and ultimately helped us win the grand prize. A few years later, I heard the same principle echoed in the Medicine Mentors podcast. They did an interview with Dr. Talmaj King, who is the dean of UCSF School of Medicine. And he said pretty much the exact same thing. To quote, "Let the game come to you." In the same interview, he explains it as follows. Keep working to become the best and don't worry about what opportunities are out there. If they want you now, they're going to want you even more later because you're going to be even better. But how do we actually make this one-of-a-kind career a reality for ourselves? I think that everyone dreams about having a career that they love, but it can be hard to do that when you don't even know what you're passionate about. So I wanted to create this practical guide based on all the literature I've read, advice I've gotten from mentors, and my own personal experience trying to figure out what the hell I want to be when I grow up, which I feel like I have a pretty good answer to now. I'm splitting it up into 4 parts: vision, planning, execution, and recommitment. Because otherwise this video would be way too long and there are a lot of things I want to go over with you all. So first of all, vision. AKA what to do when you don't know what you're passionate about. Or maybe you were like me and you have way too many things you're passionate about. Either way, this is for you. Now, my whole point in helping you figure out what you're passionate about is based on the idea that in order to ultimately have that one-of-a-kind career, you need to have leverage, which means you need to be really fucking good at what you do, which means you need to focus your energy on getting that good in the first place, because you're not the only one who wants what you want. So now that we understand why we're bothering to develop a vision in the first place, let's get to it. Now, I'm going to model this as a journaling exercise, but you can answer these questions however works for you. Question number 1, what are your core values? For example, are courage and personal growth most important to you? You might be interested in a career where risk-taking and trying new things is a cultural norm. Is family really important to you? Incorporating time with family as a priority will obviously be key. There are likely many different values that are important to you to some degree, so I'd suggest not overthinking it and jotting down what first comes to mind as the most important to you. Question number 2, what are your unfair advantages? This can be tricky, but every person has certain things they're naturally good at and unique experiences that they bring to the table. While skills you're deficient in can certainly be overcome through hard work, I think it's helpful to follow the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, translated to effortless action. Instead of fighting your natural inclinations, use them to your advantage. Once again, don't overthink this exercise. So in our example of the family-oriented person who values courage and personal growth, let's say her name is Emma, she's 22, loves Studio Ghibli, and grew up bilingual in Spanish and English. She has a tight-knit family that immigrated to the US when she was 5. She says she's really good at coming up with new ideas and excels in math and science, but isn't as good at writing or being organized. Question number 3, what are 1 to 3 topics that most spark your interest? I say 1 to 3 because I would consider 3 the maximum number of topics you can combine and still have some degree of focus. If you have many different topics of interest, jot down the first 3 that seem most interesting and explore from there. Remember that this is not some binding contract that's going to cut you off from pursuing anything else. You just need to start somewhere. To continue with our example, let's say Emma is interested in art, technology, and healthcare. An idea combining all three could be designing virtual reality software that helps patients with neurologic conditions simulate activities of daily living, thereby training them to form neural connections that speed up their recovery. I literally just made that up, but doesn't it sound hella cool? Question number 4. Within these topics, where are there gaps in the market that you can use your unfair advantages to fill? This question requires a little more research and can benefit from reading up on future trends written by experts in the field, talking to people who work in the field, as well as leveraging your own experience as a consumer within the space. So Emma reads some articles online and finds that immersive educational experiences are one of the biggest VR trends. This really interests her, and she thinks about how she would have loved to use VR to learn more about math and science in school. She also really wants to give back to her community, and after talking with her best friend, thinks it would be a great idea to make VR more accessible to Spanish-speaking students. Question number 5. What are your non-negotiables? During medical school, I've heard 2 pieces of advice for selecting your specialty. 1, figure out what you don't like, and 2, figure out what you can't live without. Greg McKeown sums this up nicely in his book Essentialism, using the decision algorithm of, if it's not a hell yes, it should be a hell no. I will share a caveat here, which is to make sure you understand why something is a hell no for you and confirm that you're happy with the reason. A hell no because you're scared and don't believe in yourself is very different from a hell no because something just doesn't excite you. So Emma decides that a non-negotiable for her is to have flexible work arrangements. She wants to be able to spend more time with her siblings and her cat, which I totally get. She knows that in the realm of VR, flexible work arrangements are common, and she personally plans to target companies that support working from home. Number 6, time to put it all together. Within the parameters you've set, write down a vision of how you can combine these aspects into a one-of-a-kind career for you. This will require some creativity and isn't meant to be easy, but the tools you've identified in the previous questions should guide you. You can also phone a friend and ask for an informational coffee chat with someone you admire to give you a different perspective. So let's say our imaginary friend Emma has settled on a vision of using VR to improve science education and health outcomes in underrepresented communities. She plans to use her unique experiences to make her software accessible in both English and Spanish, and to partner with her community throughout the software development process, beta testing, and distribution. That is a pretty solid vision that is unique to her skills, interests, and market opportunities. So there you have it, folks. Identify your core values and unfair advantages, then find the market gaps within 1 to 3 topics of interest to you. Finally, set your non-negotiables and use the parameters you've written down to create a vision that is unique to you. And remember that the purpose of this exercise is to guide you, not to bind you. You can always revisit things as you go. Stay tuned for the next part of the series where we'll dive into how to turn your big vision into an actual plan with goal setting. That's all for today, and see you in the next video. Bye!